So as the living entity is seeking for happiness, so living entity wants unlimited happiness, eternal happiness, like that. But the eternal happiness is not very easy to get, like that. But it is the nature of a jiva. It's like a hungry person. So when some person is hungry, so dis- he is very desperate that he wants food. Like somebody, he is thirsty, then he is very desperate. He wants water, like that. But when someone is hungry, he not only wants food, he wants also particular quantity of food. Similarly, somebody is thirsty, he wants particular quantity of water, also quality of water. Somebody may be thirsty and the sea may be 100 meters, which has unlimited water. But that sea water cannot quench the thirst. The thirst cannot be satisfied with the sea water. Similarly, the jiva in this material world, so the jiva is moving and he's trying to have happiness. So all the different, there's a kind of vacuum in his heart which he wants to fill. And all the things, all the objects, all the promises in the material world are meant to satisfy that quest of jiva to become happy. So, when we are studying, there is a promising job. We think the promising job will fill that void, that vacuum in life. Once we get a promising job, then I'll be very happy. Once you get a job, then the right life partner. We think, I am not so happy. But if I get married to someone, that another person, that partner will make that fortunate encounter happen in my life, that my life will become happy. And once you get married to someone, after that you think that we should have a good home in a desirable neighborhood. That's how the list goes on, like that. In one of his books, Bhakti Swami Maharaj mentions that he met many of the head of the states. He met many famous people. Nelson Mandela was also taking counseling from His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. So he said, in my meeting with some of the very, very famous people, Muhammad Ali was seeking guidance from him. He said, when I met people who are very famous, I met people who have a lot of money, very wealthy. I met people who are very successful. But till the point they were not having that thing, they were hankering for that thing. Oh, when I'll become that much successful, when I'll become number one, when I'll become most famous. But when they reach that place, when they attain that fame, that prestige, they reach the top, then they were hankering for the simple life which they had previously. Like that. Like the poor people, they are longing to have a lot of money. Like that. But those who have that much fame, so Maharaj writes, it is not uncommon among people who are at the top of success, who are very famous, very wealthy, very prestigious, that they are hankering for simple life. This is the reality of the life of many celebrities also. Like that. They're looking for a simple life. They want to have a simple day, they want to live that way. So in this world, world is this world is like an advertisement. It's promising so many varieties of happiness. Krishna writes in Bhagavad Gita, Ya mimam pushpitam vacha pravadanti ya vipaschita. Pushpitam vacha in Vedas also, there's so many flowery words like that. How one can become happy. You worship this demigod, you worship that demigod. You worship this demigod, your eyes will have proper eyesight. You worship Surya, proper eyesight. You worship Indra, then powerful body. You worship Parvati, you can have a beautiful wife. So world is going on by these promises. So in this world, we find that is why people are not walking, they are running. Why? Promises of happiness. Prahlad Maharaj says, Kutra Shashruti Sukha Mrigatrishni Rupa. Prahlad Maharaj is asking, where is the happiness? Kutra Shisha. Then he gives an example. He says, where is the water in the desert? You go to desert, where is the water? There is no water. Similarly, where is the tangible happiness in the material world? There is no tangible happiness. And only when we attain something, we start looking for next thing. We realize, oh, I was thinking happiness will be here, but happiness is not here. So we have been given this body, and in this body there are senses, and for the senses there are unlimited sense objects. And essentially in this world, body is a medium through which we want to extract the happiness. According to scriptures, this body is the first installment of a karma. Body is like a dress. Like you go to jail, before going to jail, you will be given a dress. Like that. You have seen the criminal, they wear a particular kind of dress. So this is a dress we have. So this body is a dress of a criminal. It cannot give us so much of happiness for which we are thinking. So we all have experience of frustration of limited pleasure in the material world. But still we are going on. We are trying our best every day. Why? Because there is a hope in the mind that next thing will do that. Till now, I could not, but something new will happen. Uh, Any of you, if you have gone to some restaurant sometime, and you go to restaurant and they give a menu card, and when they give a menu card, then people think, let's order something new. The name of the dishes, and you might not have tasted all the dishes. So we think, let's taste something new, which we have not tasted. And many of you must have experienced the frustration after the dishes being delivered to you. Material world is like that. We think that there's something new, but it's actually the old wine in a new bottle. So nothing different. It cannot offer you that happiness. So Shastras explain when the jiva in this material world is on the hunt for the pleasure, is looking for happiness. So he's so much looking for happiness essentially because he's looking for Krishna, who is source of all happiness. And he's so desperate. He's so desperate. He just cannot go on without happiness. So what happens? Whatever is available, he just grabs it. So there is a spiritual happiness and material happiness. Material happiness is like a 50 paisa happiness. Spiritual happiness is like 50 crores. Like that. But he's so much wanting that happiness. The jiva is so much wanting. Actually, he's looking for Krishna because he's part and parcel of Krishna. But when he's not able to get it, so whatever is available nearby, cheaply, whatever is available, he just grabs it like that. So, but what is the problem in settling with 50 paisa? One is he is not getting the real thing. He's only getting a 50 paisa. He's not getting 50 crore, which actually is his need. It's like somebody getting a 10 gram instead of 10 kg. And second thing is, it's also not just about quantity. Actually, the quality also. So, in this material world, by material happiness, no one became satisfied. If you see the scriptures, the greatest example is Hiranyakashipu, who has everything. In Srimad Bhagavatam, a shloka comes which explains that Ek Rat Samrat, he was the one-man army except Brahma. Below Brahmalok, everybody was under him. Na trappeda jitendriya, but he was not satisfied. His senses was not controlled, he was not satisfied. And below Hiranyakashipu, you can see the tiny Hiranyakashipus in the material world. You see the last end, the dead end of Hitler. How Hitler died? Suicide. Right? How Sikandar died? By malaria. And how they died, not just how the body left, but they left the world with an unsatisfied heart. Napoleon was such a champion, but he did not prepare for the last life. And when he was about to die, he was fed horse urine. He was thirsty, he didn't got water. He was fed horse urine, like that. So we find in this material world, this is a very, this world, if materially we keep looking for, it's like looking for the thing where it's not available. This material world, if we look for material pleasure, if we want the real pleasure, it's not available here. It's a 50 paisa pleasure available here. Huh? Enough pleasure to keep us trapped. It's like that. It's a trap. Like a fish you want to catch, you have to put the bait. So in the bait, there is eatable, no doubt. But when the fish eats, fish has to lose the life. So when we try to enjoy materially in this world, we get stuck up. That's why in Bhagavad Gita you'll find Krishna is telling Arjuna, Brahma bhavana loka punar avartino Arjuna, Mamupetya tu kaunteya punar janmana vidyate. The greatest of all the teachers, Krishna, he's telling. He's telling Arjuna that from here to Brahmaloka there are issues. From here to Brahmaloka. Why was spiritual happiness is not available? Because here to Brahmaloka it's a material world, and in material world you have to come back again and again, going, coming, like that. So we need a quantity of happiness and also the quality of happiness. Like fish, small fish, you can put in the ocean or you put in the small river. The fish is satisfied in both, like that. Because fish needs to be in water. Similarly, the soul is looking for a spiritual happiness. So when we are in the material world and we materially want to enjoy through the senses, we get very little happiness. So it is less in quantity and it is not spiritual in nature, like that. But the jiva is so much wanting the pleasure, like that. So what happens, whatever comes, he tries to run behind. So when we run behind the material pleasure, then what happens? We take another route. It's like you're going from Pune to Mumbai. So there is a highway, right? And in highway, you can run at the speed of 150 kilometers per hour and you can reach Mumbai very fast. But what happens if you take a diversion and if you go into the city, then you have to reduce the speed. So when instead of spiritual pleasure, which is available for us, but we need to pay some price for it. When we settle for something less, it's like if you want to get into IIT, you have to pay the price, like that. If you don't prepare nicely and don't get into IIT, then you have to settle for something very less, like that. So, but still, in this case, you can make up. But in spiritual and material pleasure, there's a far bigger difference. When instead of looking for spiritual pleasure, we settle for the small pleasure available immediately. What is that small pleasure? Like now the winter are going on, we don't get up in the morning, we don't attend Mangal Aarti, and if we don't chant our rounds, so we get some pleasure. Is it not? Sleeping also has some pleasure. We get some pleasure. But we miss a lot. We miss a lot. We get little, but the real spiritual pleasure which we could have got by chanting the holy names of the Lord, we miss it, like that. Similarly, when if we are not planned and not disciplined, the time anyways passes. The life remains easy but meaningless and boring. If you are disciplined, the schedule may be tight, but it's meaningful and satisfying. I was discussing this lesson when Rukmini was uh, Rukmini Rukmini's marriage was fixed to Shishupal. But Rukmini wanted to marry Krishna. So, but Shishupal has already come, the cards are already printed, the guests are already invited, all the arrangements of marriage is already done. Shishupal, Jarasandh, and all the demons, they have come with their armies. So then Rukmini wrote a love letter, the first love letter in the history. It's written in Sanskrit, not the Shairi. So that love letter she sent to Krishna. So for Rukmini, it was a big risk. But why Rukmini took such a big risk? All the cards are printed, everybody knows. So many armies are already assembled. Because now marrying Krishna means it's like a war. She has to face a war. But why she wrote? She thought two things. First is that she thought that dying with the right person is better than living with the wrong person. She thought if this letter, if the Brahmana get caught, or if Krishna comes to kidnap, or I may get killed, so many armies have come, fight may happen. But I'll get killed for the right cause. Dying for the right cause is better than living for the wrong cause. Second thing she thought, if Krishna comes and kidnap me and whatever happens, I may have to leave my life also. So she thought, if I get killed in trying to attain Krishna, I have to die once. If I get married to Shishupal, I have to die daily. So dying once is better than dying daily. Another thing she thought. Hmm. So choice means challenge. Whenever we accept any choice, it's a choice. We all are practicing spiritual life. So nobody can enforce upon you. Even Lord Brahma cannot enforce. Right? It's our choice. So when we make some choice, it's a challenge. We have accepted actually a challenge. Like that. And challenge means difficulty. So we should never think that spiritual life is going to be easy. We should always understand it is a meaningful way of living life. So challenge means difficulty. And when you compromise, no difficulty. Right? Getting up 12 o'clock in the noon, no difficulty. Right? Not chanting the rounds, no difficulty at all. Not reading, no difficulty. But actually, what appears to be no difficulty is more difficult. The anxiety of compromise is more everlasting and it's more painful than the difficulty of challenge. Anxiety of compromise is more painful. So, as a devotee, you can very much connect with it. Like one day you don't get up in the morning. Why? Because there's so much of cold. You don't get up in the morning. So, it's a compromise. So, morning you get up late. So, you miss Mangalarti, you miss chanting and all. Then what happened? Whole day you are painful. Whole day is painful, right? Whole day the chanting is remaining, mind is not focused. You did not welcome Krishna in the early morning hours. And if you take little pain in the morning, if you take that challenge, get up in the morning, little painful, take bath, little painful, but whole day is blissful because you could chant the rounds attentively, you could do Mangalarti properly. That is life. Yeah, that is like spiritual things. It's like poison in the beginning, but after that, there's nectar waiting. Material things, it's only a coating of nectar. It's not nectar at all, and it's full of poison. That's how material things are. So when we accept this challenge, if somebody accepts the challenge, then what happens? He can get up in the morning, he can chant the rounds, he can do Mangalarti, he can be blissful, then he can do services. One who does not, one who looks for the little material pleasure of being in the soft blanket and Rajai is there. Then what happens? It's like a diversion, taking a diversion. So diversion means delays. It's nothing but delay, is it not? After understanding intellectually, philosophically, we understand Krishna consciousness is the thing. Those who are materialists, keep them aside. As devotees, we understand Krishna consciousness is the only thing waiting for us, and it's a very meaningful thing. It's a very beautiful alternative. It's a very beautiful way of living a life. So when we understand that, so what happened? You get up at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And then from inside you will feel, oh, the rounds are not done. Mangal Arati is not done. And then whole day you are fingering on the beads. You're trying to chant the rounds with whatever attention possible. There are distractions in between, engagements in between. So what happened? It's a delay. Diversions are delay like that. Another thing is we have to understand that when we take a diversion, so we uh, we go through more pain. So diversion happens generally when if someone is not focused that way. If someone does not lead a focused spiritual life, then many alternative plans comes in his mind. I don't know who gives that alternative plans, but it will come in his mind. So I'll give two examples. I don't know that devotee is attending class or not, but anyways, I'll give the example. So one devotee, he told me कि प्रोजी मैं सोच रहा हूँ ना ऑर्गेनिक एक थोड़ा लैंड ले लेता हूँ और ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग स्टार्ट करता हूँ. तो मैंने बोला कहाँ से आया ये आपको आइडिया. So that business, that person is already, that devotee is already doing business. He is already has one shop, and now he took one more, because see, when you have more money, then you want to invest money somewhere. Then he opened one more shop, two big shops he has. So only two big shops he has, which he's trying to manage, and he has tough time finishing his rounds and completing little bit reading. He said, no, प्रभु जी what happened ना अभी वर्ल्ड वार का सिचुएशन चल रहा है और जैसा मैं फोर्स ही कर पा रहा हूँ. आफ्टर व्यासदेव इज द सेकेंड वन who's able to foresee. He is telling जैसा मैं फोर्स ही कर पा रहा हूँ आगे ना यही चलने वाला है एग्रीकल्चर. जी. तो मैंने कहा लेकिन क्यों आपका तो ऑलरेडी दो शॉप चल रहा है ना ठीक ठाक चल रहा है ना. बोला हाँ ठीक ठाक तो चल रहा है लेकिन थोड़ा सिक्योरिटी फ्यूचर सिक्योरिटी दैट. So already with two shops, he doesn't have time like that. And he's opening another field, extensive field. So we have to see, I am not saying that materially one should be foolish, but one should have overall intelligence to understand that along with the material things, what he is doing, how he has to do Krishna consciousness also. Only material thing does not give satisfaction to the heart. And when you practice spiritual life materially, also you become efficient like that. But if you only have material intelligence, you will only think of multiplying. In any city, you see these owners, mall owners, huh? This big bazaar or this PVR mall, their owners. They were rich people. Many of them are into politics also. And they have so much money, they keep expanding. तो कहीं कुछ कॉलोनी बना लेते हैं, फिर वो कॉलोनी के वहां पे कुछ बनाते हैं, फिर उसके बाद कुछ और प्रॉपर्टी खरीदते हैं और कुछ बनाते हैं like that. So they keep expanding, but they don't know what to do. They only know how to multiply the money. Till the time we don't have money, we are into another zone. And those who have too much money, they only think of how to multiply the money, but they don't know what's actually the life. Like that. One of my cousin is there, almost kind of contemporary. So he is also working a good job. He has been working like this, good government job. So 1.52 lakh salary minimum he would have. And then along with that, then he was having one business also. So one educational institute he was running. So He is in Noida. I went to Noida for one day, and that was already Sunday when I went. So, anyways, he was calling sometimes, you come, and I was also busy. I was not able to visit. But that day I went, I happened to visit. I had to go. So then I thought, anyways, I have come for one day, I'll call him. So I called him. So he came to meet me like that. And then from temple, I called him to temple. Then from temple, he made 7, 8 calls. Why? Because Sunday he has those engagements. So he said, अरे मेरा भाई आया यार, उसको थोड़ा उसको डेलीगेट किया, उसको डेलीगेट. मैंने कहा भाई इतना मत चेंज कर. मुझे नहीं पता था कि संडे को ही इतना एंगेजमेंट है तेरा. On Sunday also he was so much engaged. So he is having 1.5 2 lakh salary, he is earning in government job, and along with that he is running one educational institute. His father must be having land 50 60 acres like that, that way. And he is also having some spiritual ideas, some ideas. So I have suggested him that you take up something, open some school, do some value education like that. So in the village also now, his father has opened one petrol pump now. I said, why you have opened it? He said, this was security, like that. Until now, he is not able to leave the job, like that. And his father is also engaged in the petrol pump in the village, because village people fill petrol, but they don't give money. Later, you have to collect it. People think that will become the source of happiness, it becomes the source of misery, and it becomes delays. So when so material life has to be led with lot of alertness. Definitely we want in material life some good understanding how life will go ahead, how life will be proper, but it has to be led with lot of alertness. If we are not alert in leading a material life, then generally it will lead to diversion and lot of delays. Many of the Prabhupada disciples, Maharaj mentioned, many of the Prabhupada disciples, when they left the world, this was one of the greatest regret they were having in their heart. What? Like Hagri Prue, he was there, he was one of the first editor in ISKCON. So when he left the movement in between, and then he was into another things. And later he came back. He got a cancer. He came back. When he came back, the greatest regret he has is that I could have done so much service for Srila Prabhupada. I could have done so much service for Srila Prabhupada. I just wasted it that way. So diversions are delayed. If we don't lead a focused spiritual life, then we get diverted for something material like that. And then things become very painful. In human life is very rare. In this human form of life, to have association of devotees is all the most rare. Most of the people are not even aware about this alternative which we are living like that. When Ramanand Rai was asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the most rare thing in this creation? So he said most valuable treasure in the creation. So Ramanand Rai said what? Krishna Prem, the love for Krishna is the most rare treasure. What is the most painful thing? Most painful thing. So what he said, the most painful thing is Krishna Bhakta Virah, the separation from association of devotees. If we are not in association of devotee, that is the most painful thing. Like that. So, being in human form of life, in association of devotees, understanding what is the goal of life, these all things are not very ordinary. It's a very extraordinary thing. Because if you have these things, then only our part is remaining. We need to be sincere that way. Most of the people does not have these things. They do not understand like that. So successful, unsuccessful, rich, poor, literate, illiterate, wealthy, or anybody, when they don't have a clear understanding of life, then how can they live happy life? It's just not possible. So devotees have this opportunity. So in devotees have this opportunity, we have to avoid diversions. That is the point. If you don't avoid diversion, then those diversions will lead to delay. Like that. I have seen in the college times, I have seen in the life of the college students like that. Many of them, after accepting Krishna consciousness, if someone is not able to value it, he is the most unfortunate person. Unfortunate are those who does not have Krishna consciousness. But the most unfortunate is one after receiving Krishna consciousness, after understanding, after knowing it, one who leaves it like that. So that is the thing we have to see that it doesn't happen with us that way. So, what causes despondency? That is the main point I was discussing. So, Vyasdev wrote so many literature, he was not satisfied. So, he prayed to his spiritual master, Narad Muni. So, Narad Muni appeared. And then Narad Muni says to him, Narad Muni appeared, and then Narad Muni says to him that, why are you not happy? You wrote so many literatures, you wrote Puranas, you wrote Upanishad, and all these things you have not written for yourself, for the welfare of others. So why are you not happy? So Vyasdev said, what you are telling is correct. But I am not happy. Vyasdev wrote so much that no mortal being, no person in the material world can ever surpass the record of Vyasdev. Ever. As a record he made. Still he was not happy. So then Narad Muni said, because you have not glorified the Supreme Lord repeatedly and sufficiently. You have not spoken about the pure devotional service like that. So let's understand what is the science of satisfaction. The science of satisfaction means satisfaction is proportion to selflessness. So till now we are talking at the very gross level. People are trying to grossly enjoy and trying to be satisfied. It's just not possible like that. Even the subtle enjoyment, name, fame, prestige, this also cannot satisfy the soul. And even the superficial level of selflessness also cannot satisfy. Means somebody's, so in the winter, somebody may be donating the blankets. In summer, somebody is donating water. It's very good. It's in mode of goodness. It's kind of rare in the material world nowadays, offering charity to those who are needy. It's very good things. But they also cannot fully satisfy like that. But these things do satisfy to some degree because they are selfless in nature. But to the degree we are engaged in serving the Supreme Lord, His devotees, His mission, to that degree the soul is satisfied. Essentially, in scripture, you will find time and again, whenever we do not live according to dharma, we feel kind of despondency. We feel dissatisfaction like that. Now, winter is there. If you don't have very warm clothes, it will little bit pain the body. That in summer, if you don't have AC, it will little bit pain the body. But the dissatisfaction is connected to heart. Happiness is also connected to heart. It depends on are you following dharma or not. So for Vibhishan, Ravan, Kumbhakaran and Shupnaka, so one family, together they went for tapasya. They did same tapasya for 10,000 years, same austerities. And Brahmaji came. So, Ravan asked, I want to become immortal. Shupnaka asked for mystic power. Kumbhakaran wanted to remain, but Mother Saraswati twisted the tongue. Instead of Indratvam, Nidratvam, he asked. His blessings are being shared amongst many now. And the Vibhishan, he asked for even in the most difficult situation, let my mind do not waver from the path of dharma. Because he understood this science. What satisfies the heart is when you live by the path of dharma. And when the things are going well, it's easy. When things are not going well, then it becomes difficult sometimes. So he asked, even in the most difficult situation, my mind should not waver from dharma. So in everyone's life, whether devotee or non-devotee, the difficulties will come. Because it's a road of material world. We all are marching on the road of material world. And the clock is moving, the time is ticking, the time marches in one direction. So everyone goes through different phases of life, suffering, pain, pleasure, difficulty, easy times. But the devotee's concern is that I want to live by dharma even in the difficult times. That is the concern of a devotee. He's concerned about that aspect. So this is what Vibhishan asked, like that. Similarly, you find Avanti Brahman is there, and he was rejected by his family in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nayam jano ye sukha he to. So after being rejected from the family, but he was not blaming anyone. His concern was, he understood, because of my mind it is happening. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Yudhishthira Maharaj and Arjuna. So when Arjuna went to Dwarka, he has not come back from many months. So when he comes back, his face is dull. First time Yudhishthira Maharaj has seen Arjuna's face being dull. He has been so illustrious personality. His hairs are disheveled. The eyes are full of sorrow, like that. His expressions are lifeless. So Yudhishthira Maharaj asked him various questions. So that is in first canto, 14th chapter, 39 to 43 verse. I'll just read what he asked. So Yudhishthira Maharaj asked him, is your health all right? You appear to have lost your bodily luster. Were you disrespected or neglected due to your long stay at Dwarka? Were you addressed with unfriendly words? Did you fail to give charity that you had promised? Could you not protect the deserving candidates, brahmanas, children, cows, women? Have you improperly treated a deserving woman? Have you been defeated by someone who is inferior to you? Have you taken your meals alone without feeding elders and children? Hmm? Have you committed some abominable and unpardonable mistake? So now if you look closely at this statement, essentially Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, could you fail in executing your dharma? Why you are so despondent? Could you fail in executing your dharma? Well, because whenever we fail in executing our dharma, that gives rise to despondency. The same thing comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Kashyap Muni meets. Kashyap Muni is coming after a long time. So when he comes to the ashram and he says Aditi, he sees Aditi, his wife. So Aditi's face is dull, lack of luster. And previous time, when the husband is coming, wife is supposed to welcome. And she should be in the happy mood, all that. So Kashyap Muni was astonished. So Kashyap Muni is asking Aditi, whether she could not follow some of the religious principles, why she is sorrow. आज की डेट में आप नहीं अप्लाई कर सकते इसको. अगर घर पे आए हैं और wife is not happy, she will have some material reason. But Kashyap Muni is asking whether Aditi could not follow some religious principles properly. Why? Because if the religious principles are followed, then definitely everything else will be okay. Then the person will be satisfied in the heart. There will be no problem. So that's what he is asking. Well, that is the main thing. So that's how Bhagavad Gita begins. Dharam Kshetre Kurukshetre. So Arjuna is also fighting, Pandavas are also fighting, Kauravas are also fighting. But there is a difference. Kauravas are fighting for kingdom, the Pandavas are fighting for dharma. So Pandavas, even if they would have lost, they would have been satisfied. And Kauravas, even if they would have won, they would have been dissatisfied. Because the goal itself has been set wrong. So Pandavas are fighting for dharma. Because dharma, it is when we follow we are concerned whether we are able to follow dharma or not. So in the first canto, 9th chapter, where Bhishma Pitama is talking to, when Bhishma Pitama is on deathbed, and then all these personalities, 5 Pandavas comes in front of him. So when they come in front of him, then Bhishma Pitama is thinking about what pains and sorrows, injustices the Pandavas went through throughout their life. Aho kashtam maho nyayam yadiyuyam dharmanandana. He is telling so much pain all of you Pandavas went through. So much injustice in life. Like that. But then he says, Vipra dharma achyut ashray. Prabhupada writes in the purport, no matter however trying the circumstances of life may be, there is no need for one to be despondent if one is following these three principles. What? Vipra dharma achyut ashray. So this is our concern. See, we cannot change the course of our life. We all have come and we have certain karma waiting for us. Our karma agre dhavati dhavata. Karma runs ahead of us. The karma is already waiting for us. Materially, whatever money belongs to you will come to you. Whatever prosperity belongs to you will come to you. Whatever bodily happiness belongs to you will come to you. It's waiting for you practically. Similarly, the pains also. Whatever difficulties belongs to you, it will come to you. Whatever diseases, whatever tensions, anxiety belongs to you, it will come to you. That way. So we cannot change the course of material life, but we want to focus our energy in this according to Shastra. Vipra dharma achyutashra. Whether our life is guided by Brahmanas. Am I trying to take shelter of Lord Krishna? And am I taking pains for executing dharma? This is the point. So Bhishma Pitama is telling, it's a very powerful statement. Prabhupada, right? There's no cause for despondency. Good time, bad time, but we have to try that whether we can follow dharma or not. So when we follow dharma, then whatever happens, ultimately the end will be good. If you don't follow dharma, whatever happens, the end will be painful. As I gave example, Alexander the Great, but it was in the beginning, the end was not great. So Hitler was such a champion, but the end was very pathetic. Napoleon, such a conqueror, but the end was very pathetic. So end has to be good. So we follow dharma. That is why in Bhagavatam this shloka comes, Savay Pumsa, the deepest satisfaction the living entity gets when the living entity takes shelter of Krishna. Savay Pumsa paro dharmo yato bhakti yadokshije ahetukiya pratiyata yayatma suprasidati. And among dharma, the highest level of dharma also has levels. So, paro dharma. So, that dharma, what is that? Bhakti adhokshaje. When we engage in bhakti of that Supreme Lord, who is beyond the range of senses. And how we serve him, ahetuki, no material motives. Apratiyata, no breaks, no interruptions. No breaks. Season changes, we take break. Exam comes near, we take break. Family situation changes, we take break. Like that. So no break and no ulterior motives. When we do that, then Krishna is our only friend. Krishna is the only well-wisher who always stays with the jiva. Like that. Then we'll be able to access him. Krishna just wants our sincerity. Like that. And the deepest satisfaction is waiting for us. Because ultimately, whatever we do, that's essentially we want in the end, the deepest satisfaction. And that is the highest level of religion. That is why repeatedly in Bhagavad Gita and other literature, this is being told. So whenever in the literatures, in the scriptures, these things are told, you should do bhakti, you should do bhakti. So we should not think that there is some person who is the proponent of bhakti. He wants to propagate bhakti. Like some people want to propagate nationalism. Some people now want to propagate Hinduism. So he is a person who want to propagate. No, actually it is a nature of the soul. It's a nature of the soul. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Anityam ma sukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Anityam, this world is temporary. Asukham, in this world there is no happiness, no tangible happiness. Imam prapya, but we have come here. But we have got this. We have come here, what to do? Bhajasvamam. Krishna is telling you, worship me. Like that. So whatever material duties we have, whatever different things we are going through, along with that, it's a responsibility that we should also take care of bhakti, do devotional service. It's not an option. It's like um, you go to a hospital. So when you go to a hospital for your treatment, or some of your relative nearby person is being seriously injured, you go to a hospital. So you remain focused. वो हॉस्पिटल में एक रेक रूम भी रहता है, उसमें टीवी चलते रहता है. हॉस्पिटल में एक कैंटीन भी रहता है, उसमें इडली सांभर डोसा वड़ा वट एवर, दैट इज ऑल्सो अवेलेबल. इज इट नॉट? तो हॉस्पिटल में भी बहुत कुछ रहता है, बट यू आर फोकस्ड ऑन ट्रीटमेंट. यू हैव गॉन देयर फॉर treatment. You are focused. You may see the canteen, you may see some people are watching the TV, right? But an intelligent person, he is suffering from cancer. He cannot enjoy the movie in the rec room. He cannot enjoy the foodstuffs in the canteen. He understands, I am suffering from cancer, I need treatment. That's how this material world is. It's a place for treatment. Other things are also available. Other material enjoyments are also available, like that. But what happens? It delays the treatment, and sometimes it may aggravate the disease also. So material world is compared to hospital. So if we are focused on the treatment, then we are focused on the medicine. So the medicine is pure devotional service. And the holy name is the most powerful way of connecting with that pure devotional service. That is why we have been given this chanting of the holy names. So we try to chant the holy names as attentively as possible, like that. And after chanting the holy name, in which we are praying to the Lord for the pure devotional service, we want to render service to the Supreme Lord, service to Srila Prabhupada with our heart. There's a success of life, like that. So that gives the deepest satisfaction. And that's why we need little focus. Because along with doing all the things, our studies, our career, our family, our jobs, along with all these things, we have a responsibility, which is very important. That is devotional service. We can't delay it, we can't postpone it, and it has to be the first priority, not the second priority. It has to be the first priority. That's how devotional service happens. If somebody thinks later I can practice spiritual life, it's a myth. It's not possible. Somebody think I can keep spiritual life in lower priority and I'll be able to practice, it's a myth. Hmm? It's only when you keep the spiritual life as the first priority. There's no other way. There's no other way it can work out that way. So only when you keep it in the first priority and then you try your efforts, then you can practice spiritual life. And as you'll practice spiritual life, we can see that how Krishna miraculously arranges all aspects of our life. because he is the owner, proprietor, and the controller of material and spiritual world. So material life also gets the right direction. Everything sets into place when we satisfy Krishna that way. So thank you very much for your patient listening. Anybody have any questions, comments?
Yes, please. Next one.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Abhishek.
Which it was wonderful class, mm, especially when we are working actually. So very much we can relate with it. Many times despondency comes because we are not
Yeah,
feeling.
little louder.
Yes. So my question was that uh, how this faith will come that it's audible, Pooja,
Yeah, now.
that we don't have too much worry about the material life because some things happen, something happens like it looks like we have to give a lot of time to material life, then only things will keep on balance. Otherwise, if material life gets very much disturbed, then how the things will go ahead. So how this is going to come and how much time will it take that we get the this conviction that don't worry much about the material life, do the bare minimum, and things will happen.
So thank you. It's a good question. So question is how we can get the faith that material life will work and we can do the bare minimum and Krishna will take care. See, as we take steps, that is why it is important in life also to take some risk for Krishna. You take it, Krishna will do it. Like that. You take it, matlab, when we take risk for Krishna, we can experience it that way. Whenever we take any risk for Krishna, like that, only thing what happens, most of the people, most of the time, we don't want to take risks for Krishna. We are taking so many risks for material life. Like that. You take some risks for Krishna and we will see. You will see that Krishna manages it that way. And what happened? Because unless one takes that step, how he will experience? Because first he has to put himself in some situation na, for Krishna's reciprocation to come in his life. So as we take some steps, I remember when I was in AIT, I share this. So we were in second year and second year end, and then devotees were coming for preaching, and our college was very strict. At those times in our college, the fines were, I am telling about 2005, 6, 60,000, 70,000 fine minimum those times. And the director of our college was, he was, he himself was one level below general, major general also. And his brother only was general. His whole family has been killed in terrorist attack. He was like as ruthless as person can be. So cruel personality. He would not listen. You can't imagine him smiling or melting. Very tough person. So minimum 50, 60,000 fine and people were expelled also like that. Especially any ragging cases, any person entering in first year hostel. So I was in second year and I think this second year end, yeah. So we shifted to third year first semester, and this pre-go Proof batch was in first year. So Kumarla Prue was there at that time, and Proji told about this preaching, and I told Proji here what are the laws. The laws are it's this is why management is driven by army and very strict punishments like that. It's not simple thing. So he told it's worth taking risk for Krishna. And we were not devotional, but anyways, Prabhuji told we did it. That's how preaching happened. And we have seen in our college time we took lot many risks for preaching, because in our college nobody can stay outside. Ours was the first batch we stayed illegally, like that. Everything was very heavy. But somehow Krishna has protected all the time. We can see in our life, whenever we take steps for Krishna, Krishna does miracles. Like that. Krishna always does miracles. Actually, Krishna is always available that way. But we generally do not take so much steps. That is one thing. Second thing I can tell that when we say about Krishna's protection, this is what Krishna protects. Krishna may not protect the body. So Krishna's sister Subhadra, his son died, Abhimanyu. Krishna did not protect it. Krishna brought back to life the sons of Sandipani. He could have brought back to life the sons of Subhadra also. He did not protect it. So, but what happened? Krishna will definitely, Krishna may not protect the body. He may not protect something. Krishna definitely will protect the faith if we are sincere in devotional service. Like Avanti Brahmana, he was a rich person. But he lost his riches. He was rejected by his family members. But what happened? He is not blaming the family members. Nayam jano ye sukha tu. He is telling these people are not the cause of my distress. Mana param karanam mamananti. My mind. Who is giving this understanding? This Krishna is giving. Like that. So in our life, if we want to have particular situation, because of this attachment, we don't want to take a step. We think that this should also go properly, this should also go properly. We feel like that. But actually, Krishna knows the best. And rest assured, if you take step for Krishna, whatever happens, your heart will be joyful. Your heart, Krishna gives that conviction. Krishna gives that conviction. Krishna will protect your faith, and it is the faith is the currency in spiritual life. Faith कभी आपका डाउन नहीं होगा. तो जब स्टेप लेंगे थोड़ा, जो स्टेप लेता है, and you know, I can give two very graphic examples. One is, I just repeat in 1 minute that Dattaji, I've shared previously also. Dattaji came to our temple. What was his age? 90, 89, 90. अभी आप सोचो 25 साल 50 साल की उम्र में हमको इतना सिक्योरिटी का टेंशन है. 90 साल का आदमी कितना इनसिक्योर होगा. उसने प्रभुपा जी की बुक्स पढ़ी थी. उन्होंने प्रभुपा जी की बुक्स पढ़ के आए, and he was a ardent reader of such a strict reader of Prabhupada books. 8th कैंटो उन्होंने पढ़ा, बली महाराज का सेक्शन पढ़ा, प्रभुपाद जी के तात्पर्य में उन्होंने पढ़ा. सब कुछ कृष्ण के लिए होना चाहिए, ऐसा उन्होंने पढ़ा. उसमें टेम्पल आ गए. पहले भी उन्होंने कुछ डोनेशन दिया था थोड़ा बहुत. देन ही सेड, कौन है आपके प्रधान जी, कौन है? प्रेमानंद से मिले हो. देन ही सेड, आई वांट टू गिव ऑल माय प्रॉपर्टी टू ISKCON. तो Prabhuji saw his age. Already he's like thin person. He's 89, 90 his age. Prabhuji said, you are so old. Your treatment, other things. Keep something for yourself. He said to Prabhuji, you have not read Prabhupada books properly. He said, you have not read Prabhupada books properly. In the 8th canto, it is written Bali Maharaj section. And he gave everything. And what to do? Now he gave everything. Now where to stay? Then he came to stay in temple. उसने सब दे दिया, वो कहाँ रहेगा? तो टेम्पल में रहने लगे, मॉर्निंग प्रोग्राम में आने लगे. He was an old person. An old person, there will not be so many people talking to him. He cannot talk very fluently. He has so many things in his mind, but because of body, he cannot talk fluently. He cannot sing. He would come to Mangalarti. Some devotees would give little prasadam. In between, he got admitted also because he got sick. So devotees gave prasadam. Again, he was saved. And then in his final days, he was in the government hospital. Like that. Somehow, some situation, because he was not even in the private hospital. In the government hospital, he was admitted. The body was practically lifeless. He was not able to move. Even his basic things, devotees have to help to get it done. Like that. And I'm telling, a day before he died, the day before he died, Premanand was to leave for Banaras. And I was in one meeting with Prabhuji, and then Prabhuji told, okay, let's meet. I will meet him because tomorrow I am going to Banaras. So I went with Prabhuji to his room where he was. Already his leg being held, that hospital bed, some saline being put. And Prabhuji asked him, so how are you? And he said, free from all bodily pains. Hmm? He's not able to go to toilet. He's not able to do anything. His words what? He said, I am free from all bodily pains. That's what his words should. Like that. And then Prabhuji went, and I believe uh, that day only, around 2 o'clock or so, something like that, he died. He left his body. Now, whenever someone leaves the body, if we know, then what happened? They call devotees, and then devotees do some kirtan for them, generally. Now, he is not a big person, he is not a big preacher, he is not a famous person, he has not cultivated devotees. He is not a person in the limelight, he doesn't have any managerial position like that. I don't know, somehow, whatever, I was a witness to all this. From 2 o'clock when he left his body, our kitchen devotees went and they did kirtan for 1 2 hours. From 2 o'clock in the afternoon till around, morning 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, batch by batch, devotees were doing kirtan. No one allotted. Generally, we allot, and even after allotting, the kirtan may go for 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour maximum. No one allotted. Till morning 2 o'clock, Kirtan went on. Then his dead body was prepared. Then from temple to Ganges, we took his dead body. And from temple to Ganges, when we were taking, so I was there, one more devotee. We were doing Kirtan till there. And Ganges also have different ghats. So his body was taken where the Ganges is there and his body is here. Just next. And there also till end. So when I was just watching the whole thing and I was just a witness to whole thing, I was thinking that, there was no one to arrange, no relatives remaining, nobody for his final rites. But because he surrendered his life to Krishna, even with millions of dollars, you cannot arrange such a auspicious departure for a person, which Krishna arranged for it. Why? Because he took that initiative like that. So what pains we are taking for Krishna, Krishna is watching. And there's nobody in the entire creation who reciprocates as timely as Krishna. And we can see what happened to Bhishma Pitama, what what happened with Bhishma Pitama, what happened with Haridas Thakur is also happening now. So in just a recent case, we see Satyavati Mataji, Jadev Prabhu, they have a big factory and they have been serving devotees for decades, preaching for Prabhupada mission for decades. And now you all must have seen the video how Satyavati Mataji left. In this world, you are working for some company, they are paying you 50, 60,000. Right? Some people they work in army, the army takes care of their whole family. If you work for Krishna, will Krishna not do? Krishna will do million times more than these ordinary masters of this material, ordinary girl. We need to take the step. So we take the step. So whatever little steps we take, and the more steps you take, you will see Krishna will reciprocate with you. Like that. I cannot ensure the situations will be easy, but I can ensure the faith will be steady. That's how Krishna does it. Okay. Is anybody else or else has some question?
Yes, Hare Krishna Pri. Priji, मतलब just before sharing this, uh, I was thinking that how to मतलब take a step. So for that also need very courage. So just by sharing this story, I also met दत्ता प्रोजी जो प्रोजी थे. तो मैं आता रहता था तो देखते रहता था वो रूम में बैठ के पढ़ते थे. तो मैं भी उनसे मिला हुआ हूँ। तो इस स्टोरी मतलब ये रियल इंसिडेंट मुझे बहुत इंस्पायर किया है कि हाँ मतलब
So,
अगर हम स्टेप लेंगे तो पहले स्टेप लेना मुश्किल होता है कि मतलब हम ये सोचते हैं अगर हमने स्टेप लिया और स्टेप लेने के बाद अगर भगवान ने रेसिप्रोकेट नहीं किया तो फिर हम कहाँ करेंगे। तो ये माइंड आता है, लेकिन बहुत इंस्पायर
okay,
किया।
so this is good question. Now you see, this question was asked to Maharaj also. So I think Sukhdev Maharaj asked this question to Radhanath Maharaj. Ki Maharaj, how to get conviction on this statement that Krishna will take care? We say Krishna will take care, but how to get conviction on the statement that Krishna will take care? It may or may not be, then mind get diverted like that. So, two things in this regard. Mara said, see, Krishna is always there. Krishna's promise never fails. It's up to you. So, what happens? You want to take diversion, you can take diversion, but it will lead to delay. You will come back. Once anybody takes up to Krishna consciousness, he will come back. But diversion will lead to delay and also more suffering. During those delays, there will be suffering, sometimes suffering even more than the karmis. There's one lecture, Fallen Devotee Most Miserable. Why? Because कर्मी को तो philosophy ही नहीं पता है ना. Devotee को सारा philosophy पता है. He breaks principles. He tries to enjoy in illicit ways. It's more painful. Like that. So Krishna's promise is always there. But if we are not willing, then Krishna is willing to wait. Krishna will not push. And if we go through diversion, it leads to delay and more suffering. Second thing. So the point was, Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj, I think he asked this question to Radhanath Maharaj. So he says, we all go through the situation of facilities and no facilities. Because Maharaj quoted in the lecture this example that initially there was a ISKCON and there was no facilities practically, and the devotees, a very little facility. And when you talk about prasadam, it was just khichdi. Sometimes khichdi, dal, rice, that's all. Nothing. Extreme colds, extreme heat. But because devotees was united for the mission of Srila Prabhupada, they were so blissful. And what happens when Krishna is pleased with your service, then Krishna arranges for the facilities. Krishna reciprocates. But when then Krishna gives the facilities, then what happens? The devotees became complacent at that time. That example Maharaj gave. And then they were not going out for preaching, they were just eating and sleeping. So Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj asked question. Maharaj, all of us go through in our life the situation of facilities, no facilities. How to ensure that we remain focused? So there Maharaj told that that is why it's very important that we should have uncompromising sadhana. Like that. We should have uncompromising sadhana. Because sadhana changes the whole perception of how we look at the success, how we look at life. It is sadhana which changes our perception like that. So essentially, Maharaj told we have to go through the pain of discipline. If we are not disciplined, we are not disciplined in utilizing the time, if we are not disciplined in reading the scriptures, in reading, in hearing, in morning program, then our perception will change because material world is surrounded by wrong perceptions. So in the material world we are living, and material world is telling you do this will give security, that will give security, correct? And that's how our faith is building in material things. So only if we are disciplined. So whether the time of facility or no facility, someone who is consistent and uncompromising in his sadhana and is willing to pay that price, he will be able to have the right perception. And with the right perception, he'll get the courage. Right? So when your sadhana is strong and you're really taking shelter of the process of sadhana, it's very easy to take steps in life. It's not very difficult. But if we are not chanting attentively and if we are not reading and hearing, and if we are not, we should try to be in association of devotees as much as possible. Like that. We have to utilize all the necessary resources because all these factors lead to increased faith. Like that. So when we live with devotees, when we associate with devotees, our faith increases, then it becomes very easy. Then it becomes very easy to take steps. And devotee circle, we can also see that how different devotees we can see in their life, how they are able to take risks for serving Krishna that way. And when we read the story of, you read the biographies of some Prabhupada disciples, it will be very inspiring. How Prabhupada disciples took so much steps, so much risk. Our life is no risk at all as compared to them. Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Malti Mataji are going through and they're coming at London, coming from London, from West, and they were from different country. And Prabhupada just on station telling somebody, you get down here and open a center. Nobody has told us like that. So it is very faith giving and it's a very practical thing. As we take steps in Krishna consciousness, it's very boosting. No? And you are taking for Krishna, Krishna is watching. But to practically have it in our life, sadhana has to be there. So this was Maharaj answer. I am repeating Maharaj answer. Maharaj says uncompromising sadhana. If you have, then it will be easy. You want to dedicate because the result of sadhana has to manifest in dedication basically. That. So when you want to dedicate, when you have sadhana, then you are charged up with high voltage. That way. Okay. All right. One last somebody has. Someone wants to share something. So, okay, this Bijnor devotee, these are the which batch devotees? Pravesh?
Second.
Okay, the second year devotees. Okay. Some
Hare
of
Krishna
them want
Prabhuji.
to. Hare Krishna. Any
Hare
of you
Krishna
want to
Prabhu.
share something from the lecture? Ah,
Yes, Prabhuji.
yes.
Prabhuji, in this lecture, the most important I have learned from this, there's the person who are unfortunate, those who have not joined the Krishna consciousness, but they are very unfortunate to join and left the Krishna consciousness.
Thank you for the very beautiful point.
Mm.
We have to avoid becoming the most fortunate. Yes. Yes. Anyone else wants
Hare
to?
Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, in this, you have also already also told about that material pleasure is like nectar from outside and poison from inside, and spiritual pleasure is somewhat poison from outside, for it feels pain in starting, but
Yes.
when you go in deep, then you feel it is the nectar, real nectar.
Yes. Thank you. It's very important point. Spiritual life, little pain, but endless pleasure. Yes. Mokpru wants to share something.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, uh, you have told that whatever we
Okay.
do, uh,
Okay. One last
whatever
from Bijnor devotees. Yes.
people,
Yes. Please tell.
whatever we do, if we live according to dharma, we will get a successful ending. And
Ah,
in the levels of dharma, the bhakti of the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna is the supreme. Then we will get the supreme ending.
beautiful. That whatever may happen in between, the ending will be beautiful. And Bhakti Yoga is the highest level of dharma. Thank you. Yes, Mokpru.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Haribol, yes.
Prabhuji, all points were like very power packed, Prabhuji, but the one which touches so many points. One was like the material pleasure, as you were saying that, so Maharaj also saying that material pleasure is a full pack of miseries. Means, and so that points, suppose that points touch me also, Prabhuji. And so all the points like surrender, all those things are so wonderful. But Prabhuji, one question, Prabhuji, like, uh, those who are staying alone, Prabhuji, like after hearing lecture, we feel very enthusiastic. We become enthusiastic. We keep on going for several stays, strict sadhana. Then again, we become relaxed. How? Miss, because yes, we take try to take as much as possible, but association of the devotees, but due to some constraint, we could not take. But how to keep our enthusiasm always in it's enthusiastic? How to keep ourselves always enthusiastic for the Mangalarti sadhana?
There are two misconceptions. One of the misconceptions we carry that what we hear we'll be able to apply fully. Another thing, misconception which we have is we think that it will remain forever. We'll be able to apply fully and for full time. We have to understand the spiritual life, it's like we take food every day. It's a everyday gain. We need it every day, like that. So what happened? These lectures and other things, discussions. So these are also periodically we have to hear. Periodically we need to come in association of devotees, like that. And every day we should try to apply it. And honestly speaking, every day it will be a challenge. Every day is a new day in the life of a devotee. Every day it's a challenge. So when you know it mentally, you are at least mentally prepared. You're prepared, it's not going to be easy, but it's worth it. Every day will be a challenge. So daily life is a practicing ground. Whatever we hear, we read, every day while applying, we sometimes fail. But again, we strive. We should not give up because this is the best alternative we have, like that. So that is why it will be difficult, but keep trying. Keep trying. And also try your best to see that how you can be devotional, how you can remain connected to devotees. Lot of intellectual homework has to be done to practice devotional service in today's day. If we don't use our intelligence, then we will have excuses. If you use intelligence, Krishna will show the way. That's how generally the thing works. Like that. If you are hungry, you don't have food. Is it not? So if you think, oh, I don't have food, I don't have food, I don't have food. So this is like lamentation which Krishna is telling Mashucha. But when you are hungry, what happens? Immediately you start looking for where can I get the food. Is it not? But when it comes to devotional life, generally we don't want to take that initiative. But initiative has to be taken. Because life is dynamic wherever we are, whatever is our situation. How can I practice devotional service here? We have to use our intelligence. Like that. When you use your intelligence, Krishna will show you the way. Like that. If you don't use your intelligence, then mind will tell you the excuses why you cannot practice. So try for the right thing. Right thing will help. That. So okay, one last thing someone wants to share. Yes, Devendra,
Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
you have wearing this Harinaam chadar.
Yeah. So I'm
Yes.
still going. Yeah, I have a question. What happens like we when we chant and when we study Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita? our heart get so wet and like love for Krishna and all. But when we go again inside the material life, like responsibilities and those ways, and we see that our state, like state of mind gets so much dissolved into. For example, if I will give my example, once I do and go inside the lab and work completely attentively, then after that, like I feel like I lost that state of mind that I had earlier in the morning. And then when evening I return, I feel like, okay, I lost it, that thing. And then I have to do it again. And at night, sometime it feels so dry. And it so how to maintain that state of mind when I work attentively? So if you can give some light on that.
So, this is something beautiful Srila Prabhupada has offered us. Now, before coming to Krishna consciousness, or I would say ISKCON in particular, we would read some books, some spiritual books, some things. So, we have a particular understanding of what a sadhu means, what a spiritual life means, and we would read so many terms. And there was a this thought that a spiritual life person goes into, then he's just into the spiritual consciousness all the time. But generally, this is not the case. And even if the person is in spiritual consciousness, we may not be able to perceive it so easily. Even when Krishna is talking about Sthit Pragya in the second chapter, Sthit Pragya is a stage. Person can come and he can also come down. Even in the Ashtanga Yoga, the 8 stages, Yam Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, and then Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. Samadhi is the last stage of concentration, but it is also for a particular period of time, like that. So, what happens generally, as I told, when we come to Krishna consciousness, it's a progression. Initially, there is no spiritual life, only material life. That is the first step. And the second step is there is material life, but also there is spiritual life. That way. But what is happening, because there is so long touch with the material life, even when we are doing spiritual life, we are thinking of material life. Then the third stage comes, one thing at a time. Material life ke time material life, spiritual life ke time spiritual life. As you are telling, that when you are doing your spiritual activity, you are just absorbed in spiritual activities. And when you go to your lab, then you get absorbed in the lab. Then the fourth stage will come with period of time, that like you put a ink on some cloth, so ink spreads, drop of ink. Similarly, when we do our morning program and other things with absorption, then when you go to your workplace, you are going to your lab. So even in lab, some spiritual thoughts will be there. That is the fourth stage, which will come over a period of time. And the fifth stage is that whether you are in lab or you are in your room doing your spiritual life, everything will become spiritual. Everything will become eventually spiritualized, like that. So these are the stages but they gradually come. A lot of homework has to be done for that. So at our stage, very important that it's a very good stage, that while doing spiritual life, we are absorbed in spiritual life. It's a very good stage. Then you can do your work, and then when you come back again, good ending. Some spiritual should be there before going to bed. This is the good stage to achieve, or good stage to aspire for. And then we find like Prabhupada and very exalted devotees, whatever they are doing, is always conscious of Krishna. Prabhupada is always thinking of Krishna. That way. That stage comes not with practice, but with blessing. By our practice, Krishna may bless. That way.
Prabhuji, just one more question. Like when we be in workplace, we meet with people who are not that level, and always that creates disturbance in also thought process. Like every time they arrange something, and this disturbances happens. So how to be in that time as well, that state of mind also. For example, some party is going on or something is going on, and so it get disturbance in the state of mind. So what should be the thought process in that time?
Yes. Somehow material world is designed in such a way that uh, that there is always a challenge to follow Krishna consciousness. First, because we are in minority. Devotees will always remain in minority. Majority of the people may not understand it's for people those who are intelligent. Another thing is what happens even within devotee circle also there is challenge, and what to speak of when you are there outside devotee circle. Like there will be a challenge because we are on a mission. We want to also preach Krishna consciousness. We also want to also train devotees. So if someone has to practice alone, no challenge. As soon as you have to practice with people, there is challenge. Why? Because two things get involved. One is dealing, another is discipline. And these two things, अभी एक चीज बोला है कि ऑफेंस नहीं करना है वैष्णवास को, लेकिन अभी डिसिप्लिन करोगे तो लोग थोड़ा डिस्टर्ब हो जाएंगे, तो थोड़ा ऑफेंस हो जाएगा। ऐसा है। अब लेकिन अगर डिसिप्लिन नहीं करोगे तो चीज आगे नहीं बढ़ेगी। दैट वे। सो in general, now the principle in terms of dealing with the colleagues and also with the bosses, like that, we have to, in the job place, we have to expose ourselves that we are devotee. We should not hide. This is the first thing we generally tell devotees, and this is what works also. I've seen my life, and this is what I was suggested, and I have seen also. We should expose that we are devotee, and to our superiors we should give some devotional gifts. New Year is there, give some New Year calendar and all, and in your table keep the calendar of New Year of Lordships. So that gives some understanding to colleagues. It takes some time for them, still they will make some attempt and try. इसको ट्राई कर लेते हैं, थोड़ा ड्रिंक के लिए बुला लेते हैं, थोड़ा पार्टी के लिए बुला लेते हैं, but after 2-3 attempts they will understand. He belongs to different category, like that. Swans are of different category, they will understand. But we do it little respectfully. That is first thing. We expose ourselves as devotee, we remain respectful to our colleagues. And third and most important thing is we don't criticize them and don't look down upon them. Behind their back we don't say about their colleagues, अरे ये सब तो कर्मी लोग हैं, क्या भौतिक जगत के सुखों में गोता लगा रहे हैं, crows diving in the dustbin. No, we don't look down upon them, because we are not better than them, we are more fortunate than them. They would have also got Krishna consciousness, they would have also taken up more seriously than us. If we do these three things, with time they will not only respect us, some of them may also become devotee in work. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, all of you, for your patient listening. Shil Prabhupada ki jai.